Hey everybody, welcome back to Reach Out Reptiles. My name is Garrett Hartle, and in this week's video, we want to talk about shipping in a world and around a world affected by a worldwide pandemic. Alright, so in this video, we actually have our new boxes, which were printed for us specifically. We designed them as far as the size, the weight, and everything according to IATA, International Association of Transportation Authority. Transportation of Animals? International Association? Maybe it's International Association of Transportation of Animals. Somebody look that one up for me and drop it in the comments. Anyways, this box was actually designed for us by the sponsor of this channel, which is Stewart Design. Not only were they able to rebrand the box for me, but we took all kinds of things into consideration. So notice our old boxes were black, which looks slick, but they overheat really quickly, especially if they're set out in the tarmac. The new boxes have large areas covered in a light color and just the band of brown, so they really stand out. And once we get our shipping label on the top, that's white as well, so it reflects heat. It can withstand large forces of crush to make sure that if anything is mistreated because we have new or temporary employees working in the FedEx system, that's all going to be handled. And where we used to have our own pre-designed stickers that we had to pull out and sticker every box with the IATA logo, which is actually a regulation, guys, common name and scientific name of the species. But we had these and this side up that we had to sticker on all our boxes. Stewart Design was actually able to take our design and incorporate it right into the side of the box in the official colors. See that with the scientific and common name right there on us for us. So they did a great job. Anything that you guys need printed, you guys need to check them out at stewartdesignllc.com, or you can email Blake at stewartdesignllc.com. So there's actually a ton of consideration that goes into shipping, and here at Reach Out Reptiles, it kind of takes a whole team these days. We have Jessica, our office manager, and she's going to explain everything from the pre-planning and customer interface side, as well as the actual shipping process. And we're going to let you know from her perspective what it takes to ship a reptile.
First thing we do is check with the customer and see if they would like to receive their animals. At this time, because of everything going on and the possibility of delays, we don't charge any additional cost to hold the animals. We would care for them here until they are ready to go. When we are shipping, this is all the information that we check. So this would be the intended ship date. This column would be, I would check it to all the ones that would be shipping soon, and that would be the customers that I would contact and see about getting it set up. This column we check when it has shipped. This customer request column, we actually sent out an email that asked for your preference, if you would want your animal shipped or if you would want it held. If you would like it shipped, we keep their name, email, phone number. The zip code allows me to check the destination temperature. It also allows me to check local facilities. At this time, just for safety, we are only shipping to FedEx facilities. So I look up the zip code for the customer and give some options about the closest facility to them. We have their phone number. Both this goes on the label, so if there's any issues, they would get a phone call. They also get an email with the tracking number, so they can follow it themselves. So this is whether or not the animal is safe to ship. These are any notes about, could be anything if the customer has a preference. This items confirmed column here, just to confirm what they're expecting. So we would confirm what snake you're expecting, how many snakes you're expecting, if there's any other items that you're expecting in your shipment. This would be the FedEx ship center that they chose to ship to. So this column we put a record of the tracking. I also included a link so that I can check it often.
Then we've got Rob, who's in charge of taking care of the animal's health and well-being. And he's going to show you everything that he puts this animal through. It's like his little 10-point inspection process before the animal ever goes out.
The night before, I like to soak them in water. That does two things. That hydrates the snake, that makes it release its bowels, so it's hopefully not going to the bathroom in transit. We'll exercise them so they're a little fatigued for the trip, so they hopefully will just sleep, and next thing you know they're there. The day of shipping, I will take the snake out. I will inspect its head, is where you see a lot of the problems, if there are problems. The nose will have rubs sometimes. The top of the head will have a rub sometimes. These are also areas where you will find mites around the eyes and stuff. So you just want to make sure it looks good and there's nothing wrong. You also want to run your fingers down the spine. Make sure there's no kinks. Make sure everything feels healthy and good. Then you also want to get to the vent, inspect the vent, make sure there's no prolapsing or anything like that, no mites. You also want to sex it. And that is definitely a male. And just the overall health of the snake. Make sure it's crawling around, it's using all of its scales, it's doing what snakes do. How to get a snake's mouth open. A simple business card. I recommend this one. Put it in between the two lips, and voila, snake's mouth is open. And that works if you have to inspect its mouth, if you think that there's a tooth that needs pulled or is infected or something, assist feeding, force feeding, any of those things. This is a neat little trick for you. You're welcome.
Now, once this box is all put together, all of the different particulars for the customer, whether it's, some business cards, a genetics card that tells you everything about the mom, the dad, the bloodlines, lineages, percentages, and everything of locality that we do on our Retics, maybe a free sticker and something to drink out of. We either have a shot glass or, coming soon, some espresso mugs. And then, of course, the animals in the inner containers themselves with the animals. Once this is all arranged, Rob and Jess do a great job of setting this up, and then I can come through for a final inspection just to make sure that everything is exactly right before it goes out. And this is how it ends up looking. So the very first thing to consider is actually something you don't see, which is the crush strength of the box. Now, a lot of times this particular type of box is constructed in what's called an E-flute corrugation of cardboard. Ours are specifically ordered in B-flute, which has a higher crush strength, especially when combined with the styrofoam insulation as an inner box. Technically, the animals are contained 3 times. Once within their individual shipping container, once within the foam, and once within the box. Now, in the individual shipping containers, we do things a little bit differently here at Reach Out Reptiles. A lot of times people packing pythons will use a snake bag like this, which is great and very secure as long as you check it to make sure there's no nicks or cuts that might have come when you were opening the packaging with a razor or something. But because of the way that we package, we go for a hard container. Now, this is standard in the reptile industry when shipping smaller animals like baby geckos or tree frogs, because the animal could be easily crushed by the packaging content. The reason why we do it here at Reach Out Reptiles is because if we are packing 2 or more animals within a box, these animals each have their own space and do not crush into each other. If the animal defecates during the journey, one of them is not getting wet or humid or having air used up from the other, because they each have their own solid space within the container. The important thing to do when using a harder inner case is to make sure that you have plenty of packaging. I personally prefer the look of this crinkle cut paper. It does a really good job of allowing airflow. The whole thing is very spongy and it allows the animals a lot of crush zone around them, which is part of actually the reason why we went with a larger box size. Even when we're shipping multiple animals, there's a huge crush zone and also thermal mass within inside that box. What I mean is, if the box is placed in a really hot area, it's very well insulated, and the large air volume inside this box while it does cost me more to ship, is a great way to ensure the comfort and safety of the animal during transit. You'll see a lot of times people use the smallest possible box, and the biggest pet peeve I have is the standard 6 by 6 by 6 box. It's basically a bowling ball for that snake. You can put all the this side up arrows you want on that thing, and if you've ever seen the way that FedEx handles packages, that thing's going to be rolling all around left from right. These inner boxes are secured by hinges on the back and a flexible sticker on the front with that great brand icon from Stewart Design, our sponsors. You definitely got to hit those guys up. Thank you for supporting the people who support our channel so we can bring you these kinds of videos. Inside of this box, you're going to find the animal, and what we need inside this box are air holes, which we have 2, as well as, again, this cocoa fiber mat that we use mimics what a lot of people use as substrate in the industry without having loose pieces to fly around or get stuck. It provides more crush zone inside the box for the animal itself, acting almost like a hammock as the animal moves, and it also allows any urine from the animal to separate down away from the snake so that it doesn't have to sit in that during transit, and its skin can stay clean and dry the whole journey. Plus it looks nice. One of the things that you'll notice is the height of our boxes is basically half or less the height of the actual shipping box. So those inner containers can be set down towards the bottom so that if we need to use either a hot pack or a cold pack, we can attach these to the inside top of the styrofoam container with simple packaging tape. We'll add additional insulation on top of the box so there's a great amount, as much as possible, airflow within that box, and then we can close that up. You see, the idea behind a heat pack is not that you press that thing up against the snake where it can sit on there and get warm. All it's doing is increasing the general ambient temperature within that large volume of air that we provide for the animals during shipping. Now, because of the additional delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic right now and its impact on the FedEx system, we've been packing for extended period of delays, even though we plan very carefully to make sure that that doesn't happen. Now, as far as when to use a heat pack and which temperature ranges to use, that's something that you want to consider, like Jessica said, in the city of, or origination, in our case Pittsburgh, the hub that it's going to go through, whether it's Indianapolis or Memphis, and then the final arrival. But those temperature zones themselves is something that I'm just going to defer you to shipyourreptiles.com. They have a great write-up on when to use a cool pack, when to use a heat pack, and at which temperature zones. These are actually a 3-ounce cool pack, which is a nice small size, and that allows me to use 1, 2, maybe in opposite corners of the cage or taped up to the top like we do with the heat pack, and it gives me some variety. Again, anything that you're doing for temperature control within this insulated box needs to be placed as far away from the animals as possible. So if I only had one animal that I was shipping in this box, I would put all my extras, my goodies, my genetics cards, stickers, business cards, and swag over here, and then I would put the heat pack all the way to the opposite end. Or I can pack these animals all the way to the bottom of this larger volume box, cover them with an ample amount of good cushioning that allows for airflow, and then keep the heat pack at the top. If you only need a mild amount of heat, one thing that you can do is take a longer heat pack, like a 60-hour, and literally cut it down in size and shrink it. This is going to have less of an overall impact in the box. The biggest thing, guys, is just try to consider as many factors about what other people are going through and how this whole scenario is going to be impacting them so that you can plan around the majority of delays for the best sake of the animal. Our ability to see where all the delays are happening and plan shipments around them have meant that so far, with the exception of one closure of a hub that FedEx didn't mention, something we didn't think about, we have not had a single delay. And even with the closure of that hub, because we use Ship Your Reptiles, their customer service representatives realized it and were on the phone with FedEx before we even woke up and realized that there was a problem. When you use other label packaging companies, you can sometimes save a little bit of money, but Ship Your Reptiles is absolute gold standard in the industry as far as being in touch with FedEx about what's happening with your package every step of the way. And that's why we never use anyone else, especially during times like these. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and a special thank you to Danny and Chris from our Patreon account. They actually saw a list of upcoming videos and had some great questions and input that we were able to use their input and put into this video. If you guys want to check us out on Patreon, check out the link below. It helps support our video process making so that we can continue to bring you consistent, good quality stuff. Hey, we'll catch you guys next time. Have a good one. Seven and a half.